Okay. It's recording. Okay, let's try this thing one more time. Apparently the script completely screwed up my last video, where the video part got erased, and only the audio was left, so I need to re-record it now. And of course at the time I was sick with COVID, so I made a bunch of jokes, which obviously will not work anymore because I'm almost back to recovered now. Anyway, with this rant against the script being over, I do like the script for the most part. Just lately they've been making tons and tons of lately they've been creating a lot of problems with new functionality that they have, and even the old functionality. So the script, if you're paying attention, fix all this stuff, okay? Make it so it works. It's not about the new features, it's about the thing working right. Alright, with the rant being over, let's get back to the topic at hand. And so what I was looking at was a video from, here's my friend Jessica Duell, who is a business coach, kind of thinker. I mean, she's an awesome lady to know, to learn from, very high quality stuff that she puts out in terms of her videos. The only gripe I have about her videos, which are very potent, I highly recommend you follow her and subscribe to her, is that they're long. That's my only complaint. And so like this one here is 51 minutes, 51 seconds. I absolutely love the lady for how nice she is and everything else, but I'm not spending 50 minutes looking at the video. Not in the world of AI anyway. I'm going to show you a few things you can do to be able to consume these videos at a much faster pace. And that obviously applies not only to Jessica's videos, but anybody else's videos that are kind of longish. And the first thing is the easiest thing, is if you look at the screen here, you can see that I have this little button that says transcript and summary. And that's something from a company called Glasp. I'm going to have the link down below. They provide this tool for any video. You can just click on it and see the transcript and see the summary. In my case, I don't really need to see it or want to see it. What I want is I want to drop the transcript into one of the LLMs, and when you hover over this OpenAI icon, it shows you all these different LLMs. In this particular case, let's go ahead and use, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and select ChatGPT 4o, and let's see what it does. And there it is in ChatGPT 4o. So now I'm going to go ahead and not just accept it, do whatever it's going to do by itself, but I'm actually going to put a little prompt. I'm going to say, please take a look at this content. Give me a short summary, as well as main takeaway points as bullet points, and any other useful recommendations based on this content for my business. So you don't have to exactly do the same prompt I did. I mean, you can if you want to, but, and so here is short summary. You can see conversation centers on how business success is rooted in clarity of values, openness to feedback and adaptability, plans are essentials, and so on and so forth. So you can see very short summary, very easy to digest. And then the main takeaway points, it lists all these different takeaway points here. If you want, you can freeze the video and read them if you'd like, but you can see they're there. And then you have recommendations for the business, like I asked. So it talks about codify and communicate your core values, integrate real-time feedback loop, blah, blah, blah. So again, fairly short, easy to digest, very quick. You pick a video. If you have this extension installed for your Chrome, you simply click to select whichever LLM you want to use. In this case, we use ChatGPT. You can certainly use Claude or any other ones that are shown. And then you get these things. In terms of the prompt itself, you can do something like I did, or you can do something whatever you prefer that you think would be better for your purposes. And that's as simple as that. We're talking about spending maybe 3 to 5 minutes, and the video is 50 minutes. So you can see it's much quicker this way. Plus, this information you can actually use in other ways, where you can potentially drop it into an email or drop it into a blog or any other kind of document you wish. So it could be repurposed, in other words, after the fact. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Now let's jump into the next stage and use the approach that I actually recommend. It's not that this is bad, it's just the other one I think is a lot more potent. Hello again. Now that I've taken a shower, feel better after my COVID experience, and even clean shaven, I can tell you about the second way of handling this issue with Jessica's video. And we're going to be using a tool called Notebook LM from Google. So let's jump into that and let's go ahead. It's not going to be a tutorial on Notebook LM. There's plenty of those online. I will tell you it's a killer tool. Highly recommend it, and I'll show you in a minute why. So we're going to create a new notebook, and in this notebook you can add sources of information. In our case, we want to use what they call link from YouTube, so we're going to jump to YouTube, find Jessica there she is, and we're going to click on share and copy on the video, and then jump back into Notebook LM, click on YouTube here, and then we're going to paste the link in here from our clipboard and click insert. Now I want you to pay attention to how long it takes to do this. Literally within less than a minute, as you can see, it was maybe like 15 seconds tops. We got basic description of what this is, okay? And if that is all you really need, then you're done. So that's one thing. So instead of 50 minutes, we're down to less than a minute. But it has a bunch of additional tools that are super useful. And one of these is called Audio Overview, which is basically like a podcast to people discussing whatever the subject here is. And I'm going to go ahead and launch it so it generates it, because it takes a few minutes, then we're going to go do something else. So let's generate it, and I'll play back a little bit of it once it gets done so you can see just how potent it is. But other things that they have that are super useful are things like reports. And one of the reports is called Briefing Doc. So if we click on that, it takes it another maybe a minute or so, probably less than that, to generate the actual briefing doc. And it's both very compelling when you read it, and at the same time very, very valuable in terms of what you can do with it. So if I click here on it's all done here, this is what it looks like. And as you can see, it breaks it down to these main categories, and then it breaks it down to smaller pieces, very nicely formatted. The language itself is very nicely done. And so basically we went from a 50-minute video to a document that you can consume probably in just a few minutes. If you wanted to read all this information, you can also obviously copy it. You can convert it to be a source on the left here, so you can do something else with it. You can copy it into documents, into emails. You can do whatever you want to do. Come up with a blog. There would be another option for this. I'm not going to read it, but you can see it's a very potent document. So that's the briefing doc. Study guide is mostly for students. We'll skip it for now. FAQ is something that's useful. Maybe you wanted to create a website FAQ for your company. I wouldn't recommend it. I think there's much better ways to handle questions than with FAQ page. But if you wanted to, then you can actually use this tool to generate it, and then you can click on it and it looks like this. It's got fairly concise answers, legitimate questions having to do with the topic at hand. You know, very nice. And I think it has what, eight questions and answers. So it's not too long. At the same time, it's pretty potent. So that's FAQ. And another thing you can do is, in terms of reports, you can also generate timeline. If it's something time specific, then it makes sense to do timeline. But one of the other cool things in Notebook LM is a mind map. So if we click on mind map, again, it takes just seconds to generate. And once it generates it, it looks something like this. And notice I'm doing all this stuff in real time, so you can see just how short the time frame is for generating all this stuff. So if we look at core principles by simply clicking on this little node, we've got the core principles here. If we want to see, for example, understand what you value, click on that, and it's going to pull up that information from the main document itself. And you know, obviously it takes a little bit of time to process all this stuff because it is a 50-minute video. But you can see there it is right there. And again, this information can be easily copied, can be utilized in other places. And if we expand now, go back to the mind map itself. If we wanted to look at, for example, let's say outcomes and benefits, click on that, and it shows various points dealing with outcomes and benefits. And let's say we wanted to look at achieve long-term longevity and success. We click on that, and after waiting a few seconds here, we get that information pulled directly from Jessica's video. Okay, so everything is relatively concise. Everything is, easy to digest, copyable, things like that. I mean, it's a phenomenal tool, in my opinion. And you can also ask questions here about anything to do with this particular video. Let's go back and see if our audio overview is done, and it's still generating it. Okay, it's just come back in a few minutes, so we'll wait. I'm gonna go ahead and pause the video now, and then we'll come back. Okay, so we're back here, and it looks like it's done. Took about 3 more minutes to get it done. And let's go ahead and play it for a couple of minutes and see what it says.
We're here to help you cut through that relentless rush of information, right? All the advice, the exciting new ideas. It can leave anyone feeling completely overwhelmed.
Yeah, totally swamped.
Yeah.
And just unsure of what the next best move actually is.
Exactly. You know the feeling, right? We're all running around tackling a million tasks, but sometimes it feels like not everything we're doing is genuinely creating momentum.
Or leading to a clear outcome.
Right.
And that's really the core challenge, isn't it? With all these constant demands, how do you find clarity? How do you find your compass, especially when you're trying to, secure your company's future and stay relevant in the market?
Mm-hmm.
So this deep dive, we're aiming to pull out some really powerful, actionable insights. We've looked at material that offers maybe a shortcut to ruthless prioritization.
Well, it's ruthless. I like that.
Yeah, and crucially creating that non-negotiable space you absolutely need for real growth.
Exactly. So our mission today is basically to unpack a roadmap, a way to break free from that overwhelm trap. We're going to explore how strong boundaries, the surprising power of saying no.
Which is harder than it sounds.
Oh, definitely.
And strategic endings.
Yeah.
Plus this dedicated practice called the present retreat. Think of it like a reset button.
A strategic reset for your whole growth framework.
Yeah. How these concepts, which we've pulled straight from the source material on business growth, can unlock breakthroughs and help you fiercely protect what really matters for the long haul.
Okay.
Okay, so you get the idea. It's very compelling the way they did it. It's totally useful and usable. You can drop it onto your blog. You can drop it into your podcast, basically. You can, obviously there's many different ways to use this particular audio overview, as they call it. But every one I've heard of these are super potent. And even if you listen to the whole thing yourself, this particular one is less than 20 minutes, 19 minutes almost. But they make them as short as 4 minutes and as long as about around 20 minutes. So they're still shorter than 50 minutes. If you just wanted to generate the audio without doing any other stuff I did and just play it back, basically you can do just that, even if you don't use it anywhere, just for your own consumption. But that would be faster and easier than listening to the 50-minute video Jessica put together, because these people break it down and kind of emphasize the main points being made without any of the additional fluff for the most part. If you listen to it, it's hard to explain, but if you listen to it, you'll just see just how compelling this is and useful, like I said, in other places too. So those are the 2 examples. You can just drop a transcript directly into an LLM, into ChatGPT or Claude or any other that accepts that much input, however big it is. That's one thing to keep in mind. Claude just announced they're going to allow 1 million tokens in terms of content window, so it should be big enough to handle just about any video. Certainly an hour-long video. So Claude would be my recommendation. But you can also use Gemini, you can use ChatGPT. All of those should be able to handle it. So with that said, you have, just to recap, 2 choices you can use. You can either drop the transcript of any video into one of the LLMs and ask it with a simple prompt to give you main points and short summary. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is you could go right into Notebook LM from Google, drop the video in there, reference the video using the video's URL, and then simply tell it to generate audio overview. And once it does that, you just listen to it. So you don't have to run any of the reports or anything. You can. I wanted to show you some of the choices and options you have. You can certainly use any of them, all of them if you want. But the quickest way would be to generate this audio overview and then listen to it and get from it what you need to get from it. These overviews can be anywhere from just 4 or 5 minutes long to maybe like 20 minutes long, but regardless of how much it generates, it's still going to be a lot shorter than original video, which was 50 minutes long. Okay, so I want to one more time thank Jessica Duell for providing the content and enabling me to make a video about her video. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch and listen to my videos. Please feel free to subscribe if you like them, and share them if you like them. If you don't like them, just share them. And based on the check this morning, I'm still Oleg. Take care.
Music by 11 Labs.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.